Today we're going to be talking about this letter. What letter is this? Yes, it's the letter S. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about this letter again? We already talked about the letter S. Now that's true, but we're going to talk about some interesting things about this letter and what happens when it's at the end of words. So we know that the letter S spells S, like in the beginning of the word sun. But we often add the letter S to the end of words when we want to take something from one to more than one. So for example, I have a pen, one pen, but if I have three, then I have three pens, and I have more than one. And I get that sound, that word pen to pens, by adding an S at the end of the word. Let's talk more about this. So S makes the sound S when it follows unvoiced sounds in a word. So for example, we have a snake here and we have another snake. So we have two snakes. Snakes. Do you hear the S at the end of snakes? Well, if we take the word snake, snake, and what's the ending sound in snake? S, n, a, k, 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 k. The ending is the k. Now, is that a voice sound? K, k, k. When I feel my throat, no, it's not buzzing when I make k, 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 which means it's unvoiced, which is why when we say snakes, we make the S sound because it's following that unvoiced K. Now, we'll talk all about this in our lesson today. We've seen this word before. What word is this? This is K. Cat. Cat. This is the word cat. Great. We can all agree this is the word cat. Now, if we want to turn cat into cats, more than one cat, we're going to need to add an S, like you can see at the end of that word there. Cat, S, cat, S. Now that T, is the T sound voiced or unvoiced? No, I don't feel any buzzing. So remember, the T is an unvoiced sound, which means when we add the S, we hear it as S, cats, cats. There are many cats all around the garden. And let's see, what are all the individual sounds? Ooh, don't fall apart, please, magnets. K, a, t, s, cats. Let's try it with another word. What word is this? This is the word t. Tap. Tap, tap, tap. That's this word. Now, if we add an S to this word, what happens? Tap becomes taps, taps. Now, that S is making the S sound because p, p, p is unvoiced. Put your hands on your throat and say p, p, p. You don't feel any buzzing, so tap becomes taps, taps. Tap, tap, tap. Let's check out our consonant sound wall and see where we'd find that sound. Now, if you look over to where that arrow is pointing, it's pointing to the sound S. And you can tell too because it has that snake there to help us remember. So the S sound is under the column that says tongue behind top teeth. So when we make S, our tongue is behind our top teeth. And it's in the row go this way, they're horizontal, that says fricative. So the S is a fricative sound. So we can know, based on our consonant sound wall, which you very likely have in your classroom, or you might even have in your home classroom, it's showing us where that sound can be found. Now together, let's read some words that have this ending S sound. I'll read the blue word by myself, and then we'll read all the rest of them together. The blue word is map, map, maps, maps. There's more than one map, maps. Now let's go to page 1 with that orange arrow, mats, mats. Now let's go up to page 2, nets, nets. The yellow arrow, nuts. The teal arrow, pats. And the blue arrow, gets, gets. Now let's read all of the words on page 2. Nets, nuts, pats, gets. Here's some more words for us to read. Starting at the top of page 3, ops, tops. Orange arrow, ats, cats. Yellow arrow, et, sets. Let's go to the top of 4, it, sits. The blue arrow, ot, pots. And the purple arrow, ops, mops. We read 6 words that all ended in the s sound. Now, I know you've done it before, but let's go ahead and just remind ourselves how we write the uppercase and the lowercase letter s. So we start for the uppercase s with our writing finger just below that top line. Now we're going to curve towards the top and swoop around to the middle. At the middle, we're going to do another curve, curving to the bottom and come up just a little bit, and that's how you make the uppercase S. Now the lowercase s just looks like a little mini of the uppercase S. We took the uppercase and just shrunk it down. So let's do that, and everything that we're going to do, all those swoops are going to stay between the middle and the bottom line. So starting just below the middle line, you're going to curve up to the middle and curve around in between the middle and the bottom. Now curve around again, curve, curve, curve to the bottom, stopping at just above that bottom line. So to do it fast, you go whoop. It's almost like you're making the letter 8, or not the letter, the number 8, but you stop before you connect them. So I like doing this one because it almost feels like a dance move. Like if we were gonna go, it's like some cool dance. Or it's almost like your fingers are skiing down a mountain. If you've ever skied before, then this is like that move you make so that you don't fall when you're going down the mountain. You're doing turns and turns and turns. This is a great letter to practice to get that curvy movement down. Great job with the sound.